Can you share a bit of your background? What has
Yeah.
shaped you? What has led you to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I grew up very internationally. My dad was a shell engineer, actually. So from the age of one, I've been living in different countries. I lived in Australia from the age of 1 to 6, and then from 7 to 11 in Syria. And we were actually supposed to go to Africa, but ended up in the Netherlands. But so I grew up a bit as a global citizen. And after my studies, lived in Peru, Norway, Kyrgyzstan, and most recently 6 years in the Philippines, where I built several companies. I consider that a great richness. It's a great source of wealth that I've been allowed to grow up with such different perspectives. And I definitely think that has shaped my path, wanting to, yeah, have perhaps more of a global impact.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I'm quite curious, how has that shaped your thinking? What
Yeah.
advantages or disadvantages does it present when you talk to people who maybe do not have that varied background or experiences and your about your dreams, about how you lead? What could be some of those advantages or disadvantages that you see?
I think the main thing that I see is I really grew up in a very adventurous way, and I would consider myself an adventurer at heart. And now in entrepreneurship, I think entrepreneurship and adventuring is more or less the same because you go through this roller coaster ride of an experience. No day is the same, and you're constantly path seeking. And so I think there are strong parallels between discovery, adventuring, and entrepreneurship. So I think for me, especially in terms of the climate topics that I'm currently working on, having a global perspective is super important because we both live in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is very well organized, but also relatively protected against all kinds of major weather disasters. And I think so we're relatively shielded and far away from the current existing impacts of climate change. But being in the Philippines, which gets whacked by super typhoons several times a year, you really see the potential devastation of nature and climate change much closer. And you also see that these countries and these people have much less resilience because they have much less wealth. And so for me, having a global perspective is super important in thinking about these challenges, not just within national borders, but really on a global scale. And so that also makes the solution set a little bit more realistic.